Time for Law and Disorder.
I demand a lawyer.
With attorney Jeff Kaufman on 101.1 WJRR.
We are Orlando's at lunch. Taco Bob across from me. Jeff Kaufman getting settled in from Kaufman and Lynd. If you or someone you know has been injured, car accident, slip and fall, airplane ran into you.
What?
You get the idea. You think maybe I need a lawyer.
If you do, Jeff's the guy to go to.
I wonder what the math is on somebody getting hit by a plane.
Oh, you'd be
Not
surprised.
being in a plane accident, but actually getting hit by a plane.
If you work on the tarmac, pretty damn good odds. Jeff at whenyouneedus.com or pound 546 on your cell. Again, Jeff at whenyouneedus.com. Got back from Vegas, huh, Jeff?
Yeah, ran a half marathon there on Sunday. Had a little business with some clients who wanted to talk about some things. It was good. It was good.
Right on. Well, welcome back, brother. We got a whole bunch of...
And you saw Chicago, the band, in Vegas.
Yes.
Okay. Did they do Saturday in the Park?
Of course they did.
Okay, just making sure.
What a day. Good show, though. Good show. It was fun.
All right. We've got some questions that have come in from listeners seeking some guidance.
You can send those in 22526. Just try to keep them brief. Like, that's right on the border of how long we'll go with that last one.
3 sentences, yeah.
Yeah. On December, this is the
He's
border.
a stickler.
This is the...
My employer. Here we go.
On December 15th, my employer informed us that the company bankrupt and that it was going to be our last day. 8 of us still haven't received that week's check. What can we do?
Well, they owe you money. You were an employer. You were an employee. You're owed that money. Now, the question is this. Will you get paid? Because companies only have to pay, when they go bankrupt, you are a debt like any other debts, the same as their suppliers or anything else. So
you get discharged along with all that other stuff?
Could.
That's a shame.
I love how they ran you right down to the final day before informing you, hey, we're bankrupt.
Yep.
It's a scumbag thing to do. But, that in a business that happens, they're going, we're going to keep trying, we're going to keep trying, we're going to keep trying. And then there's zero money in the bank. And that's what bankrupt means.
I went to a restaurant one time, and you could see it in the future that it was going to go. I went there on a Sunday morning expecting to make all that tip money, and the sign was on the door.
Yeah, sometimes you walk into a place and it's empty, and it's been empty and a lot of times this. As an employee, you keep walking in, and the status of this company, and they're going, we're trying. And they are trying. Mm-hmm. But, sometimes that happens with businesses.
My wife and I play this game when we run into that situation. Going out of business or just a front for something else.
Yeah.
that's...
Well, there are things. There's
things
like
never anyone in this place. How are they still in business?
Well, believe it or not, sometimes you get green cards and things like that based on opening a business, and it doesn't have to succeed. You just have to, keep a business open, and then you're allowed to stay in the country. So a lot of businesses in Orlando are like that. So if you walk into a strip mall and you see one of these dead businesses, yeah, sometimes that's what it is.
I ain't eating there. Like, Pat, my game with you and your wife would be, I'm going to walk in there and I'm going to turn my ass right around and leave. For Jeff, this person witnessed this morning, by the way. When you hit a cow, is the rancher at fault? They watched somebody hit a cow with a truck this morning, totaled the truck, obviously, at 60 miles an hour.
Most likely.
Yeah. Hopefully the person was all right.
Yeah. It's like, see, the hard thing sometimes when you hit like livestock is figuring out who owned the livestock. Mm-hmm. Because sometimes they get off, they have a duty to make sure that their cattle is in the right place. And I'll tell you what, a cow in the middle of the road and some of these empty roads out here in Apopka, places like that, there have been a lot of people killed out there because they've run into livestock.
Yeah.
So I know we're laughing about it, but yeah, it's not good.
No, and I mean, we wouldn't know how to check the brand. I don't know what 2 on the tail, who that belongs to.
Yeah.
Been trying to get disability for severe scoliosis for close to 3 years. But I feel like the lawyer I have doesn't care and is not trying to get me the disability approval. How do I go about changing lawyers?
Well, you can contact another disability attorney, but here's the deal with disability. It takes a long time. And the lawyer, he wants it over with as quickly as possible because he's only getting paid if he can get you the disability because he gets paid through the government, not you. So in the situation, you can switch attorneys, but realize the government's behind. COVID slowed everything down. I mean, you could have those issues too.
Where's this backup on I-4 where it's shut down? Do you know?
I think it is near Lake Mary area. And Jeff, remember, was heading westbound.
Right.
Yeah, I leave westbound from here, so I saw it. I was going, oh, God, where is this?
We'll get something. If travel's going to take you that way, you might want to preemptive strike and get out of it.
Yeah, our traffic girl will be coming up to update you on that shortly. The HOA didn't exist when I signed my deed. They are now suing me for overdue fees and put a lien on my home when I didn't sign any paperwork to join. What do I do?
That's a tough question. I got to tell you, I've never come across that before, and it's not something I do. So I think you need to find a property attorney and contact them. You can check online. I'm not talking about relying on a lot of the information, but sometimes it's pretty clear. I've never heard of that before.
I'm curious what the answer to that would be. If you're at some point, you would think that you had to have been outvoted by your fellow neighbors to go in on an association. It doesn't just happen on its own, does it?
No. It's got to happen. I mean, somehow it's got to be cleared. I mean, you shouldn't be forced into something that you didn't choose. But then again, it's the same with certain taxes. Certain taxes get hit. Now, they weren't there when you first joined, but then afterwards, you never know.
So again, get a property lawyer on that one.
Yeah.
Please ask Kaufman if there's an inheritance or capital gain tax on the sale of an inherited home / property. This is from Carl.
Well, it depends on how much it is. And a certain amount of inheritance tax is waived, but basic property taxes would apply. I mean, for example, let's say the person bought the property for a certain amount of money, and when it sold, it was worth more. You have to pay the difference. But it being transferred to you, that doesn't affect you. For example, I think it's a couple million that can go to you without inheritance tax.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
I would have figured it'd be way less.
This is a sale of property, so this is a different thing because this is an income now to the estate. So, and I know this is boring as hell.
No, but people need to know.
The issue is this: let's say they bought the house for $200,000 and it sells later for $1 million. There's a potential to have $800,000 of taxable income to the estate, not to you, but to the estate, to the sale of the property. But anything that gets transferred to you below a certain rate, you get without the inheritance tax.
Okay. Here's a timely one. Haven't filed taxes in 10 years. If I contact the IRS to start filing all years and setting up a payment plan, will they try to send me to jail or pursue legal action on me?
Surprised you haven't heard from them yet.
I know. God.
10 years.
I know
Sometimes you're off the reservation and they don't. And it's hard for I don't even want to say their name. I get spooked every time I talk about them.
Who? Oh, I got you.
The I
got you.
The government department that will remain nameless.
They're right across the street from us.
I don't know what you're talking about.
Okay. Anyway.
The point is that
Dicks.
that if you haven't paid your taxes in 10 years, I mean, you owe this money. Now, there's going to be interest on that money. So if I were you, I would go directly to the closest tax attorney I could have, explain what happened. Sometimes if you file and you take care of it, nothing can happen. But right now, you do have a problem, and it is a potentially criminal one.
That's a 10-year problem at that. Good night. Can I sue an employer for international infliction of emotional distress?
International infliction?
Hold on.
Did you say international infliction?
For making people come back to the office instead of working from home.
Did you say international infliction?
That's what they said.
Not intentional infliction? International infliction.
Intentional, yes.
Okay.
Intentional infliction. Well, listen to this whole sentence, Pat.
Okay.
You tell me. You tell me you wouldn't screw up.
There's no way somebody wrote that.
Intentional infliction of emotional distress.
Members of this supposed jury.
What lady?
Okay, so what's your answer to that one?
I don't know. Still living on intentional.
Okay.
Listen, no. They can force you to come back to work.
It's a right to work state.
Also, most states, they can say, listen, if you want to work here, these are the rules.
And we have nice fragrances now.
Intentional infliction of emotional distress requires a huge amount of effort. Let's say the guy was sitting around you, knocking cymbals behind you for, 6 weeks. I mean, maybe. And
he had COVID.
Yeah. And kept coughing on you.
Yes.
No, in this situation, this is, it's,
you can't sue.
No, it is definitely not international.
And it's not international either.
Okay. No, I would suggest you can ask another attorney, but no, I don't think it rises even close to that level.
Legal question. I've got time for one more.
Yeah, you got to wrap it up. Got one more there. Go.
International.
Will my health insurance pay for internet? No. Will my health insurance pay for hospital bills after a car crash?
No, they normally don't. Now, after everything's been settled and everything else, a lot of times your health insurance will pick it up after everything's been sorted out and settled. So let's say you are having a lingering issue considering something you had an accident on, let's say years ago. Yes, it does happen after everything's gone, but they don't like to come to you beforehand because doctors don't like to be brought into these cases. So that's one of the reasons why a lot of times that doesn't happen. So when you go with a personal injury attorney like myself, we know doctors that are willing to take what they call letters of protection, and they'll treat you, and then at the end of the case, that's when they get paid. So that's the way that falls under.
And that's also why they ask you when you're signing up, did you get this injury at work? And Jeff at whenyouneedus.com or pound 546 on your cell are the direct ways to get in touch with them.
Kaufman and Lynd, if you've been injured, great guy to reach out to. Jeff and his partner Craig. You know who you're dealing with when you sign up with these guys.
Well, I appreciate it, gentlemen.
All right, so back to the Monday schedule next week?
Back to the Monday.
All right. Jeff Kaufman, everybody.
Taco on demand. Download the iHeartRadio app.